नमस्कार दोस्तों, स्वागत है आपका के न्यूज़ 24/7 में। तो चलिए देखते हैं आज की हेडलाइंस। पॉलिटिकल मोटिव्स कांट डिक्टेट रिप्लाई टू टेरर, जयशंकर एट UNGA। India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar warned that a few nations cannot dictate global response to terrorism and violence, and that the current global order cannot continue indefinitely. He emphasized the need of a fair and equitable global governance system that applies to all nations equally. Jaishankar also highlighted the hypocrisy and injustice in the dominant discourse, possibly referring to Canada's recent allegations against India. He called for solidarity and trust among nations, particularly in the global south. Political convenience cannot dictate response to terrorism, extremism, and violence, and respect for the principles of territorial integrity and non-interference in internal affairs can't be exercises in cherry-picking. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar said on Tuesday, warning that rule makers cannot subjugate rule takers anymore. Delivering India's national statement at the UN General Assembly in New York, Jaishankar made it clear that a few nations still shape the global agenda and define norms, and this could go on neither indefinitely nor unchallenged. The minister was speaking in the context of the need for a greater role of the global south, India's G20 presidency, and its track record of contribution to the global good, and the demand for a fairer and more equitable global governance architecture. But his remarks on the hypocrisy and injustice embedded in the discourse of the dominant could also be read against the backdrop of Canada's recent allegations linking the government of India to the killing of a man New Delhi officially designated as a terrorist, a charge that which has not backed up by violence yet and has been rejected by India as absurd. In our deliberations, we often advocate the promotion of a rules-based order. From time to time, respect for the UN Charter is also invoked. But for all the talk, it is still a few nations who shape the agenda and seek to define the norms. This cannot go to indefinitely, nor will it go unchallenged, Jaishankar said. The minister said a fair, equitable and democratic order will surely emerge, and for a start, that means ensuring that rule makers do not subjugate rule takers. After all, rules will work only when they apply equally to all, he added. Offering specific examples, Jaishankar said that the world must not allow an injustice such as vaccine apart held to the cure climate action cannot witness an evasion of historical responsibilities, and the power of market must not be used to steal food and energy from the needy to the wealthy. Manipur government declares entire state disturbed area under AFSPA amid unrest. The Manipur government on Wednesday declared the entire state a disturbed area under the Armed Force Special Power Act for a period of 6 months in the wake of the prevailing law and order situation. However, the status will not implemented in areas under the jurisdiction of 19 police stations, including the capital Imphal. The state government in a notification said that the violent activities of various extremist insurgent groups warrant the use of armed forces in aid of civil administration in the entire state. The development came after a fresh round of protests erupted following the kidnapping and brutal killing of 2 students belonging to the Meitei community by suspected armed men. Scores of students took to street and attempted to march towards Chief Minister N. Biren Singh residence after the pictures of student bodies emerged on social media days after the government lifted the nearly 5-month ban on mobile internet services. The notification further said that a detailed assessment of the situation on the ground is convenient at the moment, considering the security forces are currently occupied in maintaining the law and order in the state. Therefore, reviewing the disturbed area status is also not appropriate before arriving at a conclusion on such sensitive matter, government said. Technip FMC opens manufacturing plant in Abu Dhabi to supply drilling equipment to ADNOC. Oil and gas services company Technip FMC has opened a manufacturing plant in Abu Dhabi to supply onshore and offshore drilling equipment to ADNOC as a state-backed energy major seeks to boost its local supply chain. The 47,000 square meter project located in ICAD 3 is the most advanced of its kind in the MENA region and is enabled by ADNOC's in-country value program, Technip FMC said in a statement on Wednesday. This is an industry-leading facility which will continue to ramp up the capacity in the coming years to support the development of the UAE energy's vision while maximizing the value created in country, said Thierry Conti, president of Surface Technologies of Technip FMC. This will lead to creation of hundreds of jobs and unique opportunities to develop local Emirati talent. We are also working with the local supply chain to further enhance their capability and expand our local ecosystem. Bhubaneswar RTO files complaint against online cab aggregators. Bhubaneswar, September 27. IANS, the authorities of Regional Transport Office RTO, Bhubaneswar has lodged a case against online cab aggregators company like Ola, Uber, Rapido for operating in a state capital and adjoining areas without license. The RTO asserted that the aggregators are required to obtain license from the concerned agency of the state where they want to operate as per the Section 93 of the Motor Vehicles Act 1988. The government notified the aggregator policy Odisha on Demand Transportation Technology Aggregators Guidelines 2023 on April 20, 2023. However, the aggregators are yet to apply for license as per the policy despite repeated meetings and issuing of notices. They are also hiring private two-wheelers in the services, violating the rules, said Bikash Chandra Chaudhary, RTO Bhubaneswar 1. The policy allows the aggregators to use only transport vehicles. We also issued several notices to them and held discussion with the aggregators during meetings, even at the commissioner level. But they are still operating sans license. So we registered a case against these companies with the police on Tuesday, Chaudhary added. Different private vehicle owners association in the city had also complained to the authorities against the aggregators for engaging private motorcycles in commercial activities in the city. Meanwhile, police sources stated that they have sought all the relevant documents from the RTO on the issue. Police will take action against online aggregator firms after examining the documents. IANS. Scientists discover 8 continents that had been missing for 375 years. After almost 375 years, geoscientists have discovered a continent that had been hiding in plain sight. The small team of geologists and seismologists has created a newly redefined map of G-Landia or TDU-AMOI, reported PHYSORG. The researchers found it by using the data obtained from de-decked rock samples recovered from the ocean floor. The details of the research have been published in the journal Tectonics. According to a BBC report, India is a vast continent of 1.89 million square miles, 4.9 miles million square kilometer. It is around 6 times the size of Madagascar. The team of scientists informed that there are in fact 8 continents, and the latest addition break all records as the smallest, thinnest and youngest in the world. The new continent is 94% underwater with just a handful of islands similar to New Zealand. This is an example of how something very obvious can take a while to uncover, says Andy Tulloch, a geologist at the New Zealand Crown Research Institute, GNS Science, who was part of the team that discovered G-Landia, BBC reported. Scientists say that the G-Landia has always been difficult to study. Scientists are now studying collections of rocks and sediment samples brought up from the ocean bed most of which came from drilling sites, other came from the shores of island in the area. Disease X. Are we prepared to deal with another pandemic? Expert explain. Disease X represent the knowledge that a serious international epidemic could be caused by a pathogen currently unknown to cause human disease, said the World Health Organization WHO. According to National Library of Medicine, US disease X is supposed to be caused by a pathogen X. Such a pathogen is expected to be a Junis, most likely an RNA virus emerging from an area where the light mix of risk factors highly promote the risk for sustained transmission. But are we prepared to deal with another pandemic after deadly COVID-19? Experts are surrounding the alarm about disease X. Experts are warning that this potential new pandemic has the capacity to result in 20 times more fatalities than the coronavirus. The COVID-19 pandemic began in 2020 and has strategically claimed the lives of over 2.5 million people worldwide. Scientists are busy preparing. For example, the 100-day mission involves the aim to develop a vaccine within 100 days of a new pandemic. But we also need to be ethically prepared, say medical ethicist Professor Dominic Winston from the University of Oxford and Professor Julian Savulescu from the National University of Singapore in a newly published book with Oxford University Press. Navin Patnaik 8 by 10 for Modi government contrast with BJP 0 for BJD in Odisha. In the backdrop of Odisha Chief Minister Navin Patnaik rating the Narendra Modi government 8 out of 10, the state unit of the BJP and Congress on Wednesday gave the BJD dispensation 0 for being neck deep in corruption. Patnaik, during an event on Sunday, had lauded the Prime Minister and rated his government 8 out of 10 for foreign policy and work towards poverty eradication. Leader of opposition Jai Mishra of the BJP said the CM should give 10 out of 10 to the PM of his overall performance. However, I would like to give 0 to Patnaik for its all-round failure. PM's governance is corruption-free while the Patnaik government is neck-deep in corruption. Congress MLA Tara Prasad Bahinipati said he would give a big 0 to both the state and the central government. Both have done nothing for the people, he alleged. BJD MLA Shashi Bhushan Behra, on the other hand, said Patnaik does not need rating from people like Mishra and Bahinipati. Odisha Apartment Bill cleared in Assembly. An Odisha Apartment Ownership and Management Bill 2023 was passed in the State Assembly on Tuesday. It has several progressive and transformative provisions relating to regulation of ownership of an individual apartment and its management. It would regulate the use of common area in an apartment, create a common fund to meet the common expenses for an apartment, create necessary provision relating to registration of common area in favor of association of allottees in line with the provision of RERA Act and provide for registration of association of allottees with this commitment authority to make uniform provision for registration and its term and conditions to be provided in the bylaws. ऐसे ही और न्यूज़ को जानने के लिए जुड़े रहिए के न्यूज़ 24/7 के साथ।